ยินดีต้อนรับเข้าสู่ช่อง Learn EN นะคะ EP นี้เราจะมาพูดถึงเรื่องราวในการไปเที่ยวทะเลให้ฟังนะคะ ถ้าพร้อมกันแล้วก็ไปเริ่มกันได้เลย
Last summer, I went to the sea for a short vacation, and honestly, it became one of the best trips of my life. I still remember the sound of the waves, the warm wind, and the smell of salty air. Today, I want to tell you the full story about that trip, from the morning I left home until the day I came back. I went to a small beach town with my cousin. We had been very busy for many months because of work and daily life, so we decided we needed a break. We did not want a big luxury trip. We just wanted to relax, eat good food, walk on the beach, and enjoy the sea. We planned the trip about 2 weeks before we left. At first, we wanted to go with more friends, but everyone was busy. Some people had work, some people had family plans. In the end, it was only me and my cousin, and honestly, I think it was better that way, because the trip felt peaceful and simple. The night before the trip, I was very excited. I packed my clothes, sunscreens, sunglasses, sandals, and a hat. I also packed my phone charger because I always forget it. I checked my bag many times because I was afraid I would forget something important. I could not sleep well that night because I kept thinking about the beach. I imagined the blue sea, the fresh seafood, and the beautiful sunset. Every time I looked at the clock, I felt like time was moving very slowly. Finally, the morning came. I woke up at around 5:30 in the morning. Outside, the sky was still a little dark. I washed my face, changed my clothes, and made a quick cup of coffee. I felt sleepy, but also very excited. My cousin arrived at my house around 6 o'clock. He brought snacks and drinks for the road. We put our bags in the car and started driving. At first, the roads were very quiet because it was early in the morning. The city looked peaceful. Some people were jogging, some small food shops were opening. The air felt cool and fresh. We played music in the car and talked about many things. We talked about school memories, funny stories, work problems, and future dreams. Sometimes we laughed so loudly that we forgot how long we had been driving. After about 2 hours, we stopped at a small gas station. We bought sandwiches and iced coffee. The sandwiches were simple, but because we were hungry, they tasted amazing. Then we continued driving. As we got closer to the sea, the weather became sunnier. I could see more palm trees and small hotels near the road. The air also smelled different. It smelled fresh and salty. And then, finally, I saw the sea. I remember that moment very clearly. The water was bright blue, and the sunlight reflected on the waves. It looked beautiful. I opened the car window immediately because I wanted to feel the sea wind. When we arrived at our hotel, it was already almost noon. The hotel was not very big, but it was clean and comfortable. The staff were friendly and smiled all the time. Our room had a small balcony, and from there we could see the sea. The view made me feel calm immediately. After checking in, we rested for a short time because the drive was long. Then we changed into lighter clothes and decided to walk to the beach. The sand felt very soft under my feet. The water was warm and the waves were gentle. Many people were swimming, taking pictures, or sitting under umbrellas. Some children were building sandcastles near the water. They looked very happy. Their parents were watching them and taking photos. I sat down on the sand and just listened to the sound of the waves. Honestly, it made me forget all my stress. For many months before the trip, I had been tired from work. Every day felt the same. Wake up, work, eat, sleep, and repeat. But sitting there near the sea made me feel free again. Later, my cousin asked me if I wanted to swim. At first, I said no because I was too lazy, but after a few minutes, I changed my mind. We left our things on the beach and walked into the water. The sea felt cool and refreshing. We stayed there for almost 1 hour. Sometimes we swam, sometimes we just floated in the water and talked. At one point, a big wave suddenly hit us and both of us almost fell over. We laughed so hard. Even now, when I think about it, I still smile. After swimming, we became very hungry. We walked to a small seafood restaurant near the beach. The restaurant was simple, but it smelled amazing. We ordered grilled shrimp, fried rice, spicy soup, and grilled fish. Everything tasted fresh because the seafood came directly from the sea that morning. The grilled shrimp was probably my favorite dish. It was juicy, sweet, and smoky. I think I ate too much that day. While we were eating, we could hear the sound of the ocean nearby. The wind was blowing softly and the atmosphere felt very relaxing. After lunch, we went back to the hotel to shower and rest. I accidentally fell asleep for almost 2 hours. When I woke up, the sun was starting to go down, so we quickly went outside again because we did not want to miss the sunset. The sunset that evening was one of the most beautiful sunsets I have ever seen. The sky slowly changed colors. First, it became orange, then pink, then purple. The sunlight reflected on the water and everything looked golden. Many people stopped walking just to watch the sky. Some couples were taking photos together. Some people were sitting quietly on the sand. Everyone looked peaceful. I took many pictures, but honestly, the photos did not look as beautiful as the real view. Sometimes cameras cannot capture the real feeling of a moment. That night, we walked around the night market near the beach. The market was full of lights, music, and delicious food smells. There were many small shops selling clothes, souvenirs, snacks, and handmade items. I bought a small shell bracelet because I wanted something to remember the trip. We also tried many snacks. I ate grilled squid for the first time in a long time. It was spicy and delicious. My cousin bought coconut ice cream and we shared it. While we were walking, we listened to a street musician playing guitar and singing slow songs. The atmosphere felt warm and cozy. Later that night, we went back to the hotel and sat on the balcony. The sea looked very different at night. It was dark but beautiful. We could hear the waves clearly because the town became quieter. We talked for a long time about life. Sometimes when people are busy, they forget to slow down and think about themselves. But during trips like this, you suddenly have time to breathe again. Around midnight, I finally went to bed. I slept very well that night because I was tired, relaxed, and happy. The next morning, I woke up early again because I wanted to see the sunrise. The sky looked soft and peaceful. The beach was almost empty, except for a few people walking or jogging. I bought a hot coffee from a small cafe and sat near the water alone. Honestly, that moment felt magical. The sound of the waves, the morning air, and the warm coffee made me feel very calm inside. I stayed there quietly for almost an hour without checking my phone. Usually, I check my phone every minute, but during that trip, I realized something important. Sometimes we spend too much time online and forget to enjoy real life. After breakfast, my cousin and I rented bicycles. We rode along the beach road slowly while enjoying the view. There were many small cafes, souvenir shops, and local houses along the road. Some local people smiled and waved at us. We stopped many times to take photos. At one small cafe, we ordered fruit smoothies and pancakes. The cafe had a very relaxing atmosphere, with wooden tables and plants everywhere. I remember thinking, I wish I could stay here longer. Later in the afternoon, we joined a small boat tour. The boat took us to a nearby island with very clear water. The sea there looked even more beautiful than the main beach. The water was so clear that I could see fish swimming under the boat. We wore life jackets and went snorkeling. At first, I felt nervous because I'm not very good at swimming, but after a few minutes, I relaxed and enjoyed it. Under the water, I saw colorful fish and coral. It felt like another world. Everything looked peaceful and quiet underwater. One funny thing happened during the tour. When my cousin tried to take a selfie on the boat, the wind suddenly blew his hat into the sea. He tried to catch it, but it floated away very quickly. We laughed so hard. Even now, when I think about it, I still smile. After the tour ended, we returned to the beach town feeling tired but happy. That evening, we decided to have a simple dinner. We bought fried chicken, rice, and drinks from a local shop and ate near the beach while watching the waves. Sometimes simple moments become the best memories. On our final day, I felt a little sad because I did not want the trip to end. After breakfast, we packed our bags slowly. Before leaving, I walked to the beach one last time. I stood there quietly and looked at the sea. The waves kept moving again and again, just like time. I remember thinking that life moves very fast. Sometimes we become so busy that we forget to enjoy small, beautiful moments. That trip reminded me that happiness does not always need expensive things. Sometimes happiness is simply sitting near the sea, eating good food, laughing with someone you care about, and watching the sunset together. Before we left, I took one final deep breath of sea air. Then we got into the car and started driving home. On the way back, both of us were quieter than before because we felt tired. But it was a good kind of tired, the kind of tired you feel after making good memories. When I arrived home that evening, I unpacked my bag and looked at all the photos from the trip. Every photo reminded me of a different moment. The beach, the sunset, the seafood, the boat ride, the laughter. Even now, whenever I feel stressed or tired, I sometimes look at those photos again. And honestly, they always make me smile. That trip to the sea was not the most expensive trip in the world. It was not the most luxurious trip either. But for me, it became one of the most meaningful trips of my life. Because during that trip, I felt relaxed, happy, free, and alive again. And someday, I hope I can go back there once more.